Hi there. I just want to take a minute and say thanks to a couple of people who have sent some very nice comments and personal messages regarding the lessons that I'm putting up. I've been teaching for a while and have kind of figured out a few tricks to make it make more sense, and I'm hoping to get those ideas across to you during the course of these videos. One of the things that I want to emphasize to you is that you should know the scale forms for C major everywhere in your guitar. I got the videos that describe how those go, and you should practice them every day. I mean, just take some time and go through all of them and make sure that you get them under your fingers so that you absolutely positively know exactly where they are all the time. And what's going to happen when you do that is your ear is going to get more and more used to what a major key sounds like and what sounds right to you. And that will help you understand how the mode thing works. Because it's about sound. A lot of times guys are saying things about modes which are kind of true but kind of not true in a way too. And if you always think about it with regards to what the key sounds like or what the mode sounds like, I think it will help you understand it better. One of the things I want to talk about with regards to expanding your knowledge base is that once you've got C major down, and you should work on learning the names of the notes of the guitar. And if you play the C major scale, as I have described it, all the forms that I'm doing, even when they have notes that are below the root or above the root, I'm always starting on the note C. Let's say the form 5-2, for example. If you watch the video, it starts on C. Through as far as I could in one position, went down below the C, picked up the notes, and then returned to C, so that I always end up getting the sound of a C major scale regardless of what position I'm in. I think that's real important because it helps your brain know what's going on. So practicing those scales and getting where you got them down really good is going to be very beneficial, and then you can start moving them around and learning different keys. And the first key that I would recommend after you've learned the key of C is to learn the key of G. The key of G has one sharp, it is F sharp. So what's happening is that we are moving through the cycle of fifths, kind of going backwards in a way, I guess, but we're working through the cycle of fifths. And when you think about guitar songs that are rock songs or blues songs, the cycle of fifths keys, in other words, going from the key of C to the key of G, and then the key of D, and then A, and then E, learning those 5 keys will cover tons of tunes. I mean, it's amazing how much, that's what rock and roll guitar is made of, is those keys mostly. I mean, if you're studying jazz and want to become a jazz guitarist, then you should be moving in the opposite direction as well, going from C to F to B flat and E flat and A flat and doing all that, because a lot of jazz tunes are written in those keys because, horn players and piano players like those keys. And while they're not necessarily as conducive to the open strings on the guitar, especially low notes, for getting that kind of thing going, it's good to know them. But anyway, what you want to do is work your way through some keys, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to show you some stuff real quick. Okay, so we learned the C major scale. We played starting on a C note right here at fret 3 of the A string. Played 1 octave. We expanded that idea till we covered more territory. We played it as an open form. And in the process of doing that, we got these shapes going, always starting on a C note. Now, if I were to change to the key of G, if I started with my open position, I would have G, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. Now, I would consider this form 6-4, and if I were to play that where I had no open notes, that would be putting my little finger at fret 15. Now that's the shape that it was down at the open end of the guitar, but a lot of times I'll stick this F sharp note right here over here. And again, that's exactly the same shape as the 6/4 was in C. Now when I move that shape from here to here, interestingly enough, the only note that really changes is the Fs now become F sharps. And that's the difference between the key of C and the key of G. Only one note has changed, and this can be the source of some confusion. Sometimes when you're playing, especially pentatonically, you can kind of convince yourself that it's in G or C, but it might actually be in D. You know, it's kind of one of those things where there are so many similarities, so many common notes in the keys, that until you really define it, you can get confused. But if you have a good grasp of the way these shapes work, always begin and end on the root. Then it will make more sense to your brain. The way it sounds is going to be right. Now this scale right here, what would I call that? I would call that form 5/2 because on the 5th string my second finger's playing the root. When we were in the key of C, that was the one that was down here. G. When I move to G, all I do is put my second finger on the G note and play the same pattern. Okay, so if you will spend some time with G, and again, if you want if you'd like to have a tab of the scale all written out for you, just shoot me a message. I'll be glad to send one to you. But do the key of G next, and then we'll talk about the key of D, which I think you'll probably be able to figure out by then.